The notification lit up my phone at 6:47 p.m. Running late, honey. Huge traffic jam on Highway 9. Don't wait up for dinner. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. I stared at the message from my wife Sarah, sitting in our empty kitchen with takeout containers growing cold. After 12 years of marriage, you develop instincts. Something felt off. I opened the GPS tracking app we'd installed for safety reasons and checked her location. My blood ran cold. Sarah wasn't stuck in traffic on Highway 9. She was at the Riverside Country Club, 40 miles in the opposite direction. The same country club where her entitled brother-in-law Derek worked as the events coordinator. The same Derek who'd been stirring up trouble in our marriage for months, constantly telling Sarah she deserved better and that I was holding her back professionally. My fingers trembled as I typed back, "Don't worry, I'll forward your location to Derek's wife. Should help her understand where you really are." 15 seconds later, my phone exploded with notifications. "Wait! Please don't! I can explain everything. It's not what you think." But it was exactly what I thought. I'm Dave Mitchell, 38, and I run a small but successful electrical contracting business. Nothing fancy but honest work that paid for our suburban home and Sarah's marketing degree. What I lacked in social status, I made up for in loyalty. Apparently, that wasn't enough anymore. The truth hit me like a sledgehammer. Derek hadn't just been undermining our marriage with his snide comments about my blue-collar limitations. He'd been actively working to destroy it from the inside, convincing Sarah she needed someone more sophisticated. My phone rang. Sarah's panicked voice crackled through. "Dave, please, let me come home and explain. Derek was just helping me plan a surprise for your birthday next month. We were meeting with event planners. At 7 p.m. on a Tuesday, without telling me, after lying about traffic?" Silence. "Come home, Sarah. We need to talk." 2 hours later, she walked through our front door, looking like she'd been crying. Her designer dress, one I'd never seen before, told a different story than her tears. "Where did you get that dress?" I asked calmly. Derek's wife gave it to me, for the event planning." "Call her, right now. Let's verify that story." Sarah's face went pale. "Dave, please don't make this harder than it needs to be." "Make what harder? Telling the truth?" She collapsed onto our couch, finally breaking down. "Derek said you'd never understand. He said you'd react exactly like this, suspicious and controlling." "So, there is something to be suspicious about." The whole story came pouring out. Derek had been filling Sarah's head with poison for months, telling her she was too good for a simple electrician. He'd introduced her to his wealthy friends, taken her to expensive restaurants, and convinced her she deserved a more glamorous lifestyle. "He never touched me," she insisted. "It wasn't physical, he was just showing me what life could be like. While you lied to your husband and snuck around behind my back. Derek said you wouldn't understand his world. He said you'd try to hold me back from networking opportunities." The manipulation was crystal clear. Derek had isolated Sarah from me while positioning himself as her sophisticated savior. Classic predatory behavior, wrapped in the guise of family concern. Over the next few days, the situation escalated rapidly. Derek had apparently told Sarah's friends that I was emotionally abusive and threatened by successful people. Our mutual friends, couples we'd known for years, started treating me differently. At Mike and Jennifer's barbecue that weekend, the cold shoulders were obvious. These people had been in our wedding, shared countless dinners at our table, celebrated holidays with us. Now they whispered when I approached and made excuses to avoid conversation. Jennifer finally confronted me by the pool. "Dave, we're concerned about Sarah. Derek told us some disturbing things about how you've been treating her." "What exactly did he tell you?" "That you've been isolating her from family, monitoring her phone, and threatening to cut off her credit cards if she doesn't obey you." I felt my temper rising. "And you believed him?" Without asking me or Sarah directly? Sarah confirmed it, Mike chimed in, joining the conversation. She said you've become controlling and paranoid since her career started taking off. Her career? You mean the part-time marketing consulting she does from home? Derek got her interviews with 3 major firms downtown. Real positions with real salaries, but you sabotaged them by demanding she stay home. The lies were breathtaking in their scope. Derek had constructed an entire false narrative, casting himself as Sarah's champion and me as the villain holding her back. You people have known me for 8 years, I said, looking around at faces that had once been friendly. When have I ever been controlling? When have I ever discouraged Sarah from pursuing her goals? People change, Jennifer said coldly. Success can make some men insecure. What success? I built my business from nothing. I encouraged Sarah through college, supported her career changes, never once complained about her spending or social activities. That's not what Derek says. And Derek's word is worth more than 8 years of friendship? The group exchanged uncomfortable glances. Tom, who'd been my poker buddy for 5 years, spoke up. Look, Dave, maybe you don't realize how you come across. Derek's just looking out for his sister-in-law. Derek's looking out for Derek. He's been trying to break up my marriage for months. That's a serious accusation, Mike said. Derek's a respected member of this community. He volunteers with 3 charities and sits on the country club board. And I'm just a blue-collar electrician, so obviously I'm lying. The silence that followed confirmed everything I needed to know about these people I'd called friends. I left the barbecue early, driving home through suburbs where I'd installed security systems, rewired kitchens, and fixed electrical problems for half the neighborhood. People who'd shaken my hand and praised my work now saw me as beneath their social circle. That night, Sarah came home late again. This time, she didn't bother with the traffic excuse. I was with Derek and his friends at the country club. They're good people, Dave. They're trying to help me build a better life. A better life than what? Than our marriage? A life where I'm not apologizing for wanting more than this. She gestured around our comfortable home dismissively. What's wrong with this? Nothing's wrong with it, but it's not enough anymore. Derek showed me what's possible when you network with the right people. And I'm not the right people. You're not even trying to be. The next morning, I made a decision that would change everything. I called Derek's wife, Linda. We'd met a few times at family gatherings, and she'd always seemed intelligent and observant. If anyone would know what Derek was really up to, it would be her. Linda, it's Dave Mitchell. I need to ask you about Derek and Sarah. A long pause. I've been waiting for this call. You know what's going on? I know my husband thinks he's smarter than everyone else. I know he's been spending a lot of time and money on your wife lately, and I know he's been telling people you're some kind of monster. Are you going to help me expose him? Dave, I've been documenting Derek's behavior for months. I have receipts, photos, text messages. I was just waiting for the right moment. What kind of evidence? Restaurant receipts for expensive dinners he claimed were business meetings. Hotel charges for networking events that don't exist. Credit card statements showing jewelry purchases he never gave to me. My heart sank. Jewelry for Sarah? A tennis bracelet last month. Earrings the month before. He's been grooming her, Dave. Classic affair setup. But Sarah said nothing physical happened. Not yet. But Derek's patient. He's done this before. Before? His last job ended when HR discovered he was having affairs with 2 married subordinates. He convinced both women their husbands were holding them back professionally. The pieces fell into place with sickening clarity. Derek was a predator who specialized in targeting married women, isolating them from their support systems, then positioning himself as their savior. Why haven't you divorced him? Because I'm gathering evidence for a case that will destroy him completely. And now, with your situation, I have everything I need. Linda and I met the next day at a coffee shop downtown. She brought a folder thick with documentation, Financial records, photos, screenshots of Derek's social media messages to other women, even recordings of phone conversations where he bragged about his projects. He calls them projects, Linda explained. Married women he's working to separate from their husbands. Sarah is project number 3 this year. The recordings were devastating. Derek's voice, clear as day, describing his strategy. The key is making them feel intellectually superior to their husbands. Sarah's smart but trapped with a blue-collar guy. I just need to show her what she's missing. Another recording. Dave's the perfect target husband. Decent guy, works hard but no social connections. Sarah's embarrassed by him at events. I'm just amplifying that embarrassment. And the worst one. Once I get Sarah away from Dave, she'll be grateful enough for anything. These suburban wives are so predictable. I felt sick, but also furious. Derek hadn't just been trying to steal my wife. He'd been systematically destroying my reputation and friendships as part of his sick game. What's your plan? I asked Linda. Public exposure, complete social destruction. I want Derek to lose everything, his job, his reputation, his friends, his standing in the community. What about Sarah? That's up to you, but she needs to hear these recordings. She needs to understand she's not special to Derek. She's just his latest project. That evening, I set up a meeting with Sarah, Derek, and our former friends. I told them I wanted to apologize for my behavior and discuss moving forward constructively. They arrived at our house looking smug and victorious. Derek wore an expensive suit and carried himself like he'd already won. Sarah looked beautiful but distant, like she was already mentally gone from our marriage. Mike, Jennifer, and Tom came as mediators, clearly expecting to manage my surrender and help Sarah transition to her new life. Thank you all for coming, I said, setting up my laptop on the coffee table. I've done a lot of thinking about what you've told me, and I realize I need to understand Derek better. So I did some research. Derek's confident smile faltered slightly. Research? I wanted to understand your background, your expertise in helping married women find better lives. I clicked play on the first recording. Derek's voice filled the room, describing Sarah as project number 3 and detailing his manipulation strategy. The room went dead silent. Sarah's face went white as she heard Derek's clinical description of her as a predictable suburban wife who would be grateful for anything once he separated her from me. This is fake, Derek said quickly. Dave's obviously hired someone to create fake recordings. I played the second recording, where Derek bragged about his previous affairs and described his systematic approach to destroying marriages. Jennifer looked horrified. Derek, is this really your voice? It's taken out of context. Dave's trying to frame me. Linda walked in from the kitchen, where she'd been waiting. Hello, everyone. I'm Derek's wife, and I made those recordings. Derek's face went from confident to panicked in seconds. Linda set down her folder of evidence. Derek, tell them about your last job. Tell them why you really left Morrison and Associates. Linda, don't do this. Tell them about project number 1 and project number 2. Tell them about the hotel receipts and the jewelry purchases. Sarah found her voice. What jewelry purchases? Linda pulled out the receipts. The tennis bracelet Derek gave you last month? He charged it to our joint credit card. The earrings? Also, our money. Everything he's used to seduce you came from our marriage. Derek stood up abruptly. I don't have to listen to this. Actually, you do, I said, blocking his path to the door. Because everyone in this room needs to understand what kind of person they've been supporting. Mike looked stunned. Derek, man, what is this? It's a misunderstanding. Dave and Linda are working together to destroy me because they're threatened by my success. Success? Linda laughed bitterly. You mean your success at manipulating vulnerable women? Your success at destroying marriages for sport? I played the third recording, where Derek described his specific strategy for turning Sarah against me. The key is making her ashamed of her husband in social situations. Once she starts seeing him through my eyes, the marriage is over. Sarah was crying now, but whether from humiliation or heartbreak, I couldn't tell. Tom shook his head slowly. Derek, we defended you. We believed you when you said Dave was controlling and abusive. Because I am telling the truth. This is all fabricated. Then explain the hotel receipts, Linda said, spreading them across the coffee table. Explain why you've been charging romantic dinners with other women to our credit card for 2 years. Jennifer picked up one of the receipts. The Riverside Inn? Derek, you told us you were at a charity board meeting that night. I was. This is business entertainment. With Sarah? I asked. Because this receipt is dated the same night she told me she was working late on a client project. Sarah's face crumpled. You told me that dinner was a networking opportunity. You said important clients would be there. There were clients there. Just you and me, Derek. It was just you and me. The room was silent, except for Sarah's quiet crying. Our friends looked like they'd been punched in the stomach, realizing how completely they'd been manipulated. Derek made one last desperate play. Fine. Maybe I developed feelings for Sarah. Maybe I thought she deserved better than this. He gestured dismissively at me and our home. That doesn't make me a monster. No, Linda said quietly. But this does. Linda played a video, security footage from the country club. Derek was seen passionately kissing another woman, not Sarah. This was 3 days ago, Linda said coldly, while he claimed to help Sarah plan Dave's surprise. Sarah stared in shock. Who is she? Project Number 4, Linda replied. His next target. The truth shattered Sarah. She'd been used. Derek sneered. You were miserable, Sarah. I gave you excitement. You gave me lies, she said quietly. I betrayed the only man who loved me honestly. Their friends turned to me ashamed. We're sorry, Dave. I nodded. He's a manipulator. You were fooled too. Linda blocked Derek's escape. Tomorrow, I file for divorce and send this to your board. You'll regret this, Derek spat. No, she said. You will. I told him calmly, leave. Never contact my wife again. He left in disgrace, his reputation destroyed within weeks. His career, marriage, and social life collapsed. Sarah and I entered counseling, rebuilding trust piece by piece. Months later, she earned a new job, her own success this time. On our 13th anniversary, we renewed our vows. Derek was right about one thing. Sarah deserved better, and she finally had it.